Hey everyone, my name is Jeff Lee. I am a criminal defense and personal injury attorney in Memphis, Tennessee. And I want to talk about some of the terms you probably hear in these high profile media cases. A lot of times the media will say that a person is a person of interest. Other times they are a suspect. Now, do these terms matter and do they give you any different legal rights? We'll talk about it in this video. When law enforcement or media are talking about a person of interest, what they're saying is, we believe this person may have information about the crime. So there's no suggestion of wrongdoing in that case. I mean, if there was a robbery that happened at a gas station and a witness was at the pump next to it, and maybe they didn't stick around to make a statement, the police may label that person a person of interest. They have information about the case because they may have personal knowledge, something they personally witnessed. Of course, further down the scale is a suspect. A suspect is when the police think that the person may have committed the crime. Now, there's no requirement that a person begins as a person of interest and then escalates to a suspect. And a lot of times people become suspects, and then it becomes clear they could not have committed the crime, and then they're no longer a suspect. You don't see that on the TV a lot. They don't talk about all the dead ends that may happen in an investigation. So a lot of times it feels like when a person's a suspect, it's just a matter of time. But that's not really accurate. And another example is a person may be a person of interest, but then after the police talk to the person, they say, you know what, this is a suspect. So yes, sometimes when they do get access to that person and interrogate them, they say, we're thinking this person was more involved than we first imagined. Sometimes when you see, like, for example, in this Gabby Petito case, Brian Laundrie, police were calling him a person of interest. In my opinion, way longer than was accurate. I think he was a suspect much sooner in the case. So when you're watching the national news, be skeptical because these are really terms that law enforcement or the media uses. Maybe they are going to call a person of interest to encourage that person to go make a statement. And then the dummy goes in and says, oh, I was there at the time, but I didn't do it. Or, they almost confess to the entire crime, but then they scale it back like 1 degree. And the police say, oh, this is our guy. So just because a person hasn't been labeled a suspect yet does not mean that all the police don't think that that person committed the crime. Now, do I have an obligation to turn myself in if I'm one of these and not the other? No. The short answer is no. You do not have any obligation to assist the police in investigating and prosecuting you. Under the Fifth Amendment, you don't have to make any statements that could incriminate you, that could tend to show your guilt. Now, certainly the media, the Nancy Graces of the world are going to say, he's guilty because he didn't cooperate. He's guilty because he didn't give his phone up for immediate connecting it to a database and accessing everything in it for the last 15 years. He's guilty because he didn't speak to the media. He's guilty because he's not participating. That's bull, okay? A person does not have to participate in an investigation. And maybe that makes them look guilty. Or maybe they're a private person, or maybe they are suspicious that the police will believe them or follow up on the leads that they give them. There are a lot of good reasons for a person not to participate in a criminal investigation. I'll give you a quick example. I represented an African-American defendant. He was wearing a white T-shirt at a time when a lot of guys were wearing these just a white T-shirt. And he was downtown. Now, he was innocent. He did not commit the crime. But the police said, hey, why don't you come in? We'll just rule you out. I'm sure you've heard that before. And just come down. And he said, well, why wouldn't I? Because I didn't commit the crime. But after he said, well, I was in that general area and I did have a T-shirt on, he didn't know what the police were looking for. He didn't know that the actual suspect had something similar on. So he really didn't even know that the things he was saying made him go from a person of interest to a suspect. And he was arrested and he spent about 10 days in jail. And of course, later it was found to be another person who committed the crime. But you don't really know what the police are looking for. And you might go down there as a person of interest and you may be arrested as a suspect right then and there. So first, I just wanted to let you know those different terms: person of interest, suspect. Regardless of which one they want to categorize you as, you are an American citizen and you don't have any obligation to participate. So I don't want you to think, well, I have to go in now because I'm this or I'm that. These are mostly terms used by the media, and either you have an arrest warrant or you don't, or you're free to go or you're under arrest. Those are the classifications that you need to worry about. If you have any questions about this, please give me a call or call another attorney in your area. And if this information was helpful, I'd love for you to like and subscribe. I'm trying to do a lot of legal videos of general interest to people, and I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you.